Hey everyone, it's Mike from Mike Olson Art. I hope everyone's having a great day today. As usual, thank you guys so very much for taking the time out of your day to check in and hear me talk a little bit more about the art cards that I've been working on. I've got a really exciting project that I want to share with you guys today, and it's exciting because this is actually the first time I've gotten to work on a card in this particular genre of sports cards. And that genre of sports cards is the world of professional wrestling. We're actually going to look at card number 30 of series number 3, and that in itself is exciting because if you remember last year, I was able to make it up to 59 unique handmade cards, and already this year we are a little bit more than halfway towards meeting that same total from last year and hopefully exceeding it. And that is really thanks to you guys. You guys are the ones that continue to reach out and invest in me and my work. You continue to reach out with amazing requests. Your creativity is just fantastic, so I gotta thank you guys just so much for all that. But let's get back to the card that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Like I said, it's a pro wrestling card. You know, I grew up in the 80s. My brother and I were huge wrestling fans growing up, so it was really cool to get to kind of revisit that world again and dip back into the world of professional wrestling. So why don't we just take a look at the card that we came up with. All right, so here's a brand new card that we came up with. This is a Bill Goldberg, or Goldberg as he is better known in the world of professional wrestling. And this card was just such a blast to work on, but there was a lot that went into it. So why don't we just dive right in and take a closer look. All right, guys, so here is our brand new handmade Goldberg wrestling card. Really cool project to work on. I think that one of the first things you're going to notice about this card, other than Goldberg's really intense and really cool facial expression on this one, is the fact that this is a borderless card. I personally love borderless cards for some reason. I think it really helps extend all of the artwork right to the edge. It gives you you know, a little bit more room to work with. I know it sounds crazy, but a tiny border on all 4 sides is enough room to really shrink everything down, just enough to make it, you know, sometimes more difficult to work on. So spreading this one right out to the edge was just a great idea, I think, on the part of this client, and I'm really happy with the results. So really cool right off the bat to do that borderless card. You know, this photo, like I said, really fantastic facial expression. This photo inspiration was supplied again, you know, by the client right at the beginning. So right off the bat, I had the image and I had, you know, part of the idea of how this card was going to be laid out. They did send me a couple examples of some other wrestling cards that they had, where they had a background that was a little more abstract, a little more like paint blobs, and a little bit less like, you know, a crowd or a actual background. So I was really happy that they wanted to go that direction, and I used you know, a black paint, and I did kind of the same thing I do with some of the crowd you know, images on baseball or football cards, where I just kind of blob in some paint on a card that I've already gotten pretty wet with just plain water, and I just kind of let these things go where they want to go, which is easy and terrifying at the same time, because you really never know how, you know, this stuff is going to turn out. And weirdly, it's almost harder to do a background like this than if I would have had, you know, a ring or a stadium or something behind him where I could clearly draw it out. Sometimes leaving it up to chance like this can be a little bit stressful, but super happy with how this one came out. And like a lot of the cards I've been doing lately, I put this really fine white edge around Goldberg, and I think that that really adds a little bit of interest to the actual piece, but I think it also helps kind of make the subject pop from the background. So I've been doing that in a bunch of the cards that I've worked on lately, and I think I'm going to continue to kind of add that in because I really like the effect it gives, and you know, in this case I think it worked great. So you know, just really happy with this card front. I have done a lot of portraits of people, and you know, for some reason, this one just came out so much better than I expected. You know, everything going on with his mouth being open and his squints of his eyes, a lot of weird shadows and a lot of weird, you know, moments of depth in this card that I think really worked out great. So super happy with how the portrait came out. And the last thing on the card front that I'll talk about is his tattoo. Just really happy with how that tattoo came out. You know, a lot of the times a tattoo might look black, but in actuality it's, you know, more of a dark, dark, dark blue. By the time, you know, time has gone on and these tattoos fade a bit, they actually turn out a little bit more blue than black. So I'm just really happy with how this tattoo came out on him. It looks like it really is on his arm, and that was what I was hoping would happen. So really, really cool card front. I'm going to turn this over, our card back. I did a little bit of actual gold paint in this little design up here. Goldberg sounded like I should use some gold paint, and I think that that worked out really well. I mainly decided to stick to his WCW statistics. He wrestled in quite a few leagues, including the WWF, the WWE, Japanese wrestling. He really wrestled all over the place, but mostly in the WCW. So I decided to stick with that when it came to his stats. Did his wins, losses, draws, and he did have an undefeated streak of 173 wins, 0 losses from September 97 to December 98. So I thought that was a really cool fact that I wanted to add to the back of this one. And just, you know, really happy with how I was able to kind of, you know, pull different stats and still make it work in this framework that I'm used to using. So really happy with the card back. And then, like I said, really, really cool card front. You know, I'll make sure to drop in any of the items that the customer sent as inspiration so you can kind of see where this image came from. But, you know, all in all, just a really, really cool card of a really, really cool wrestler. So thank you so much. All right, guys, so that is a little bit of the story behind our brand new Goldberg wrestling card. Just a really fun project. I cannot thank the client enough for, you know, commissioning my very first wrestling card. Just a really groundbreaking card in the whole collection, and I just can't thank you enough for reaching out and wanting to do this one with me. You know, thank you so much. Alright guys, this is the part of the video where I tell you there's no card that we can't make. Whether it's a wrestling card, a baseball card, or even a boxing vintage tobacco card, we can do it. The possibilities are limitless, and it's really just your imagination that's driving this thing. So keep coming to me with your ideas because they are fantastic and I love working on them. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me here on Instagram, or you can head over to my website, mikeolsenart.com, and you can get in touch with me there. But either way, let's talk about your card because it's going to be fun to work on. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.